It's like I don't care about nothing, man. Yeah. Oh,
Okay, so this one is going to still go over triangle sum. Now, these problems, I only go over 2 problems. They are a little bit more challenging and honestly more like what you're going to probably see on the test. So you're going to have to know your different angle relationships, vertical angles, linear pair, and triangle sum. So that's the main things you should know and have a better idea of by the end of this video. Okay, so we are continuing with triangle sum theorem. Now, in these ones, I'm going to just show you a little bit more, some ones that I would find a little bit more challenging because you're going to use different things that we've already learned before. For instance, it says solve for all the missing angles if L is this symbol here means parallel. So they're telling us L and M are parallel. Whenever you see that something's parallel, we are going to be dealing with angle relationships. So things like alternate interior, alternate exterior, corresponding, things like that. I'm not talking about Tinder for angles. Get it? Angle relationships? Yeah. Now,
this is Google, not Match.com.
Also, so we'll say no to love.
We'll say no to love, yes.
It's going to be a no.
Now, on this one, let's say I go to look at angle 4 first. Angle 4 and the 49 degrees could be considered alternate interior angles. And alternate interior angles have to be congruent. So angle 4 would also be 49 degrees. So this one, we were able to find angle 4 because of that. Now, if I go to do angle 5, if I want to base it off the 49 degrees, I could notice that it is consecutive interior angles. And consecutive interior are supplementary. And if you don't remember what that means that they add up to 180 degrees. So I can do 180 minus 49, which would equal 131. So angle 5 would be 131 degrees. I also could have noticed that this formed a linear pair. So depending on how you notice it, you could have found it either way. So we're going to try to keep this in mind for the next ones I find. So now let's say I'm looking at angle 1. Angle 1 and the 73 degrees here would be also alternate interior. And alternate interior has to be congruent. So since this one is 73, it also is 73 degrees. So angle 1 would be 73 degrees. Now I'm going to look at angle 3. This time I'm going to look at it this way, and I'm going to notice that this forms a line. So it's linear. I'm going to call it a linear pair because you have a pair of angles right next to each other that form a line. So this is for angle 3. So if it has to equal 180, what I would want to do is 180 minus 73. And if I did this, I would get 107. So this one here would be 107 degrees. Now the last one I'm going to do is angle 2. Angle 2, the way I'm going to find it is through triangle sum. Now triangle sum is what we did in the video before. That's where all angles inside a triangle have to add up to 180. So I have these two angles here. So 73 plus 49. And I got that from these two angles inside. I would get 122. And now I do 180 minus 122, and I would get 58. So angle 2 would be 58 degrees. You also hopefully notice that here, this all formed a line. So if I did 73 plus 58 plus 49, it would also equal 180 degrees. All right, so the next one I'm going to look at with you is number 11 on page 6. Now this one uses a lot of things that we have used in the past. So what I mean by that, for instance, notice that you have a degree outside here. Now on the video before, I talked about X marks a spot, and the reason I say that is because across from it would be vertical angles. So angle 3 we can find because we have vertical angles which have to be congruent. So if this side's 95, so is that side. So angle 3 is 95 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and write that this one is 95. Now, what I notice, and hopefully you notice, is that angle 2 and angle 4 formed a linear pair with the 95 degrees. So I'm going to say angle 2 is linear, and so is angle 4. So when I do this, I'm basically getting a 2-for-1 special because I'm going to be able to find them both just doing this once. So I'm going to do 180 minus 95. When I do that, I get 85 degrees. So angle 2 and angle 4 equal 85 degrees. So this one is 85, so is this one. So thinking about linear, or linear pair, I'm going to do the same exact idea with this right here to find angle 5. Because angle 5 does have an angle right next to it, which does form a line. So I can go ahead and find that one. So I'm going to do 180 minus 144. When I do this, I would get 36 degrees. So angle 5 here, I'm just going to write it a little on the outside, 36 degrees. So this again was angle 5. Now, I'm going to go ahead and find the last angle inside the baby triangle right here. This one was the small triangle that was created by our two big triangles being connected. So they intertwined, made a baby. Ooh, birds and the bees.
For a Wayne's World salute to the Guess Jeans girl, Claudia Schiffer. Swing! Swing! Tent pole!
This one here, we're going to do by triangle sum. And we're going to, this is going to help us find angle 6. So we're going to do 95 plus 36. 95 plus 36 gives me 131. Now I can go ahead and do 180 minus that, and I get 49. So angle 6 is 49 degrees. Now, something I recommend, especially once it gets this convoluted with so much stuff in it, is to redraw the different triangles. Because right now, we only care about one angle in each of these triangles. And if we kind of separate it, it potentially might make it easier for us to see what it is we're trying to find. So we're trying to find angle 1. We had a 90-degree angle, and the last corner was 49 degrees. The other one we had, I'll draw it right here, in this one, in the corner, we had a 36 degrees. We're looking for angle 7, and in this angle they told us it equaled 38. So let's do this one first. So we're going to find angle 1 using triangle sum, because we know all angles inside a triangle have to add up to 180. Now we do 90 plus 49, which is going to equal 139. So if we do 180 minus 139, we would get 41. So angle 1 is 41 degrees. So now the last thing that we have to find is angle 7. So now we just have to do the same thing, same idea, triangle sum. So hopefully you remember triangle sum by now.
Doc, none of us can remember anything from last night. Remember?
Where all angles inside a triangle have to add up to 180. And we're going to do 36 plus 38, which is going to equal 74. Now we're going to do 180 minus 74, and that will get us 106 degrees. So what we just did was we were able to find the different angles either by vertical angles, linear pairs, and triangle sum. So that basically, this problem kind of exemplifies everything we've been learning so far. So that's the end of this video. Now, anything I did not do is extra practice for you. So anything dealing with triangle sum is extra practice. The next thing that we're going to be going over in the next video is going to be exterior angles. So you're going to see how we can potentially find those when we're dealing with triangles.